Hello dear students. So far in the chapter Biomolecules, we have already covered about the different types of biomolecules. We have studied that biomolecules may be biomicromolecules and biomacromolecules. And in all, we can categorize them into proteins, carbohydrates, lipids and nucleic acids. Today, we will study how these different biomolecules interact and they are responsible for controlling the life processes. So, let's study what all topics are left in this chapter. So, four more topics are left in this chapter, which are first is dynamic state of body constituents. Second is metabolic basis for living. And third is living state. And finally, the last topic of this chapter will be enzymes. In today's class, I will take up first three topics. So let's start this topic, these three topics which are interrelated and which are very interesting and easy. Now, first topic says that dynamic state of body constituents. That is the concept of metabolism. Before coming to the dynamic state, you must know what is metabolism. In lower classes, you have already studied that all these metabolic reactions are of two types. That is catabolic and anabolic. So, metabolic reactions are the sum total of catabolic and anabolic reactions. So, these catabolic and anabolic reactions, you must know the difference. First one is anabolic and second is catabolic. What is the difference between them? Anabolic reactions are those reactions where the smaller constituents, they combine together and utilize certain energy and get converted into bigger molecules. So, the smaller constituents get converted to the bigger constituents. For example, photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a sum total of anabolic reactions because in photosynthesis, for example, carbon dioxide and water, they will combine together to form C6H12O6, that is glucose, and solar energy is required. So it is a sum total of anabolic reactions. Okay. Likewise, catabolic reactions, they are opposite. When bigger molecules, they break down into smaller and release energy, then that is called as anabolic reaction. So in respiration, what happens? It's the opposite of this. This glucose will break down into carbon dioxide and water in presence of oxygen, and it will release the energy which will be in the form of ATP. Fine. So this sum total, that is catabolic and anabolic, is called as metabolism. So here energy is used up, that is just like endothermic reactions. Here energy is released just like exothermic reactions. So this was the concept of metabolism. Now when we say metabolism, there is another word called as dynamic state. What is meant by dynamic state? Dynamic state means always in the state of movement. When we say dynamic, there is another word which is called as turnover. Turnover means one molecule is not static. It doesn't remain in that form only. When life processes are taking place, one form gets converted into another form. So you can say one biomolecule has a starting point and it will get converted. It will be turned over and get converted into another molecule. So it has a starting point and it has a destination. So because of this turnover, there is always a dynamic state taking place. Okay, we can always compare with the running traffic. So when you see the traffic signal, so whenever traffic signals are operating very well, the vehicles know when to stop and when to move. So whenever there is red light, the traffic will stop. And whenever there is green signal, the vehicles will move. Same way. There are the similar movement of molecules take place inside a living cell also. So every molecule knows when to get converted into another molecule, in how much amount and when. Okay, so this is called as the dynamic state of body constituents, and this is totally dependent upon the metabolic basis. So there is a metabolic basis for living organism. So metabolism means a series of biochemical reaction. When we say series of biochemical reaction, which means that one biomolecule will get converted into other product, and then in next reaction the product becomes the constituent, that is a substrate, and gets converted into other. So there is a series of interconversions and ultimately some physiological work is done. That is called the metabolic basis of living. So when you talk about the life, for example, if you talk about the plant life, both the processes, that is photosynthesis and respirations, are essential. Okay, so that is called the metabolic basis of life. So all the living organisms are nothing but they have the sum total of the catabolic and anabolic reactions. That is, they are showing amphibolic pathways. Some pathways are anabolic, some pathways are catabolic, and that's why we say they are amphibolic pathways. Okay, so this is about second concept. The third concept is the living state. When we say living state is not in a state of equilibrium. So there is always a flux. There is an influx and efflux. So many constituents are moving into the system, that is a cell, in bulk, and many constituents are moving out of the system, that too in a bulk. So there is always a rate of reaction going on. For example, when we say product is formed, this product is depending upon the, when we say the rate of reaction is based on the amount of product formed with respect to the specific time period. This is the rate of reaction. This rate of reaction in a living state is peculiar as compared to the chemical reactions which are taking place outside a living cell. We will take one example. For example, suppose there is a reaction where carbon dioxide is reacting with water and forming carbonic acid. This is a simple reaction which is taking place outside the cell also. When it is taking place outside the cell, then also there is some rate of reaction. So it is seen that for this reaction, the speed is very slow. The speed is around 200 molecules of H2CO3, that is carbonic acid, are produced per hour. So in 1 hour, 200 molecules of carbonic acids are produced. Now, if the similar reaction is taking place inside a living cell, it is very fast. How can be fast? It is because all the reactions which are taking place in the living state, they are all catalyzed. There are certain catalytic presences there, and those catalysts are called enzymes. These enzymes are called biocatalysts. There is not a single reaction in living organism which is not catalyzed, where catalyst is not performing. Okay, so similar reaction will take place inside the living cell also. So for example, when we say carbon dioxide plus water in a living cell, there is one enzyme which is specific, which is carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic anhydrase will also convert into H2CO3. But do you know what will be the rate? The rate will be 6 lakh molecules will be produced. Not in 1 hour. It will be per second. Can you see how fast are the reactions? So these reactions are not only fast, they are very specific and they are reversible also, depending upon the environmental conditions, depending upon the different factors. So all the reactions in a living state are catalyzed, they are directed, they are going in a particular direction, and which is controlled by enzymes. So in next lecture, I will be talking about the enzymes. So today we have discussed mainly about the interconversion of different molecules from one form to other. Okay, so in next lecture, I will take up the enzymes. Thank you very much.